Thanks so much for clicking on this English lesson. I know there are there are a lot of amazing English teachers on YouTube, and you chose to click on this English lesson. Thanks so much. You may know I am an English teacher in the United States. I've been teaching for over 20 years, and today you are going to experience what it might be like to be in my classroom. So I am your teacher for the next 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. We are going to learn some vocabulary you might see on the IELTS or TOEFL exam. You might read this in a book. You might hear it in a conversation. And then we are going to read an actual story that I've been reading with my students in class. But first, we need to learn some vocabulary. And for that, I have some pictures, and I also have some definitions and sentences at the bottom of the screen. So first, let's talk about fluffy. It's an adjective, and it is used to describe quite a few things in English. We're going to talk about 6 of those things. But first, the definition: soft and light, like a cloud or a pillow. Hopefully, you know what those objects are. If not, don't worry. We will talk about them in just a minute. How about this sentence? The kitten's fur was fluffy and warm. And if I make this a little bigger, we can talk about some of these objects here. So first, you can see a cloud. You see those in the sky quite often, and they are often fluffy. We also have a kitten. It's just another way to say a baby cat. Marshmallows. They are very popular in the United States. Some people like to roast marshmallows over a campfire. You also have a bunny that can be fluffy. Bunny and rabbit are basically the same thing. And I'm not sure about you, but at night, I like my pillows to be fluffy. And finally, we have a dandelion. In fact, right now, in my front yard, there are a couple dandelions. I see those most often in the spring. I'm filming this in the fall, right before it's about to get cold where I live, and we still have a few dandelions. Next, I think we should talk about the word layer. Layer. This is most often going to be a noun. And the definition for a layer is a thin piece or level that covers something. She put one layer of frosting on the cake, and we're going to talk about cake right now. So let me make myself smaller. 6 more pictures of things that are layers, or they come in layers. One thing I'm not so sure about, we'll talk about that. But yeah, there are layers to the earth. We have some layers in English we might call the crust, the mantle, the core. In the middle, one of my favorite things, cake. And you might see it's like a 3-layer cake. It's a strawberry cake. It's a piece of cake. And there's definitely frosting on the top, but you have a layer of frosting and then a layer of cake, then a layer of frosting for what I would call a 3-layer cake, even though there were kind of like 6 layers there with the frosting and the cake. Sedimentary rock, you will find that in the ground. Ooh, maybe I should remove myself so you can see lasagna. Lasagna, there are layers of cheese and sauce and pasta. In the middle, let's come back to shirt because I don't think that is a layered shirt. And then again, you have layers of rock, different colored rock there. But in the middle, I wouldn't call that shirt layered. I would call it striped. So let's read that sentence at the bottom. I wouldn't call that shirt a layered shirt. I'd call it a striped shirt. Now, you can dress in layers. We might say that. You can dress in layers when it's cold. So that woman has a jacket on for sure. She also has a scarf and she has probably a sweater and maybe a t-shirt on underneath that. So she is definitely dressed in layers, always a good thing to do when it's cold outside. Next, we have glitter. Glitter. Now, this is a noun. A lot of little kids like to do art projects with glitter. Glitter sparkles. We'll talk about that verb in a little bit. But you can turn glitter into an adjective. So you can say, oh, it's glittery. But let's talk about what the noun is first. Glitter. Small, shiny pieces that sparkle. And in that picture, that glitter has certain places where you can see the light shining. So we might say it's sparkling. Glitter definitely sparkles when the light hits it just right. So let's get a sentence with glitter. The card had glitter on it that made it shine in the light. Glittery is sometimes the adjective. Couple easy ones here. Oh, hang on. Couple easy ones here. Wood stove. Some people like to use a wood stove to heat their house. It's different from a fireplace. Fireplaces are more decorative, they are more for decoration. Yes, they will heat up a room in the house, but a fireplace is more to look nice. A wood stove might be ugly. This one in the picture, it's kind of ugly, but it does the job. It will heat your house up. So a wood stove is a heater or cooker that burns wood to make heat. And I talked about earlier campfire. That is different from a wood stove and a fireplace because a campfire is always outside and you could actually roast marshmallows over the campfire. We talked about roasting. If you saw the English lesson about hot things or warm things, we talked about roasting. How about this sentence with wood stove? We stayed warm by sitting near the wood stove on the cold winter night. Another fairly straightforward one, like a snowblower. Some people will use this machine to clear off their driveway. Do you know that English phrasal verb? They might clear snow off their driveway or maybe the sidewalk in front of their house. Here's the definition for snowblower: a machine that blows snow off a driveway or a sidewalk. Let's get a sentence that uses snowblower. My dad used a snowblower to clear the path after the big storm. Now, if you have to clear even more snow, maybe off like an entire road, you might use a snow plow. So, a snow plow is a truck with a large blade that pushes snow off roads or driveways. A snowplow. Here is a sentence that uses snowplow. The snowplow cleared the street so cars could drive safely. Now, let's get sparkling. Just to make sure that it is clear, we have a picture there, and it looks like the snow is sparkling in the sun. Here's the definition: shining brightly with small flashes of light. The snow looked sparkling under the morning sun. So you could say it looks sparkling, it looks sparkly, pretty much the same thing. But what about melted away? Do you know the English phrasal verb melted? It's like the opposite. I'll talk slowly here. Do you know what the opposite of melt is? It's to freeze. So if you have some ice and you put it, sorry, if you have some water, it will become ice. If you have some water and then you put it into the freezer, if you saw the lesson on cold things, you know these words already. So if you put some water into the freezer, it is going to freeze. That's the verb we would use for it. It gets hard, it gets solid. And then when you take that ice out of the freezer and you let it sit at room temperature, it will melt. But we also have the English phrasal verb melted away. That means turned to liquid and disappeared. Very sad, but that snowman is eventually going to melt away. It looks like the day is going to be pretty hot. The sun is shining on that snowman, and he will slowly melt away. Here's a sentence that uses the English phrasal verb melted away. The ice melted away in the warm room. What about this one? Great verb to know. It is going to appear in our story that we are going to read in a minute. All of these terms will. Milted. No, sorry. We already did melted. This one is soaked. Soaked. That means very, very wet. My shoes got soaked after walking through the puddles. And if we take a look at this picture, this woman, this young girl, maybe, it looks like she is very proud to be from Angola. She is wearing her sweatshirt from Angola. Hang on. Maybe I should show you my shirt here. Look at this. This is from a country really close to Angola, the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But this girl, maybe, she's from Angola, and her feet are getting soaked. She's not wearing boots. I would say that she is either wearing sandals or slides, and she is wearing socks, and she's walking through the puddle. Maybe she just wants to have a little fun, but she is doing exactly what that sentence is saying. My shoes got soaked after walking through the puddles. Puddles can sometimes be slippery. Slippery is an adjective, and it means smooth and wet, easy to slide on. We'll talk about somebody upstairs is moving furniture. Sorry about that. If you heard it, maybe the microphone is doing its job. You didn't hear that. But something can be slippery. And if it is slippery, you might slip or you might slide. We will talk about slide in a minute. Be careful. The floor is slippery after the rain. And it looks like this person in the picture is walking on a path that might have some ice on it. He also is not wearing boots. He's just wearing regular sneakers. We might call those shoes. Sneakers. And it looks like that path is slippery. If he slips, that's the verb, he might almost fall, or he could slip and fall. The next one that will be in the story we read is mitten. These are different from gloves. Both gloves and mittens you put on your hands to keep warm, but we'll see in a minute, mittens don't have any room for fingers. It's like all one spot, except for this. It does have room for your thumb or a spot for your thumb. A mitten is a warm glove with one part for the thumb and one big part for all of the other fingers. I think I've done an English lesson on fingers in English. We actually have a name for all of the fingers in English, but the one we're talking about right now is thumb. Thumb. It has a B at the end. Don't ask me why. You don't say the B. Thumb. I wore a red mitten on each hand to keep warm in the snow. Couple more words here, and then we'll read our story. But lounge. Do you know this word in English? It can be a verb, and I think that's what we're going to talk about here, but it can also be a noun. We'll talk about that in a minute. But to lounge, looks like these girls are lounging. Looks like a great day. They're in their pajamas, sitting on the sofa or the couch, and they are maybe watching a movie. There is a bowl of popcorn in front of them. So it looks like a pretty nice, relaxing day. And the word lounge and relax can mean pretty much the same thing. Let's get the official definition: to sit or lie down in a relaxed way. After school, we lounged on the couch and watched a movie. Now, in the story we are about to read, they're going to talk about the teacher's lounge. So, there, it's going to be a noun, and that is a room where people can go to basically relax. Like in the teacher's lounge, that is a room where teachers can go to get away from students, to just kind of relax. You might also see a lounge in an airport. If you have enough money, maybe you can pay to use the airline's lounge. There you might find like free food and snacks and just a quiet place to get away from the hustle and bustle of an airport. So let's talk about it as a noun. Lounge can also mean a comfortable room for relaxing, like an airport lounge. All right, we have two more: sliding, the verb, and slide, which is a noun. So sliding means moving smoothly along a surface, usually down or across something. So sliding is smooth, slipping is not smooth. Like you almost always will slip on accident, but sometimes you can slide and it's like fun. You can actually like slide down a hill. Do you know the object those two kids are using to slide down the hill? I'll give you a second to think. Well, it's called a sled. So they are sliding down the hill on a sled. Here is a sentence using sliding. The children were sliding down the icy hill and laughing. So that's exactly what those kids look like they are doing. But we also have a slide. So this is a noun, a slide. And you can find these things in almost every playground in the United States. A lot of elementary schools, that's where little kids go to school. A lot of elementary schools will have a playground and they almost always have a slide. If you don't mind, please go ahead, hit that like button. If this is your first time here and you're still watching, thanks so much. Please go ahead and subscribe. Now let's put those words that you know to use when we read this story. And like I said earlier, this is the same story my students are reading in class. So I will make myself really small and I will make the story big. And I say we just go right through and read this together. If you have to stop and take notes, feel free to do that. If you need to watch this more than once, I mean, we are talking about a lot of information here. Please go ahead and watch it a couple times. This story is called A Snowy Day Surprise. The alarm clock rang. Maya opened her eyes. The room was bright. She looked outside her window. Snow, lots of it. Big, fluffy snow was falling. Everything had a thick white layer of snow. It looked so sparkling, like tiny jewels. Wow, Maya said quietly. She usually didn't like winter. It was too cold, but today felt special. The big tree in the yard looked beautiful, all white and round with snow. Maya quickly put on her warm clothes. On the kitchen table, her mom left her red mittens. They had white snowflakes on them. Maya loved them. They kept her hands warm. And here we have Maya. It looks like she's getting ready for school. She already put on her sweater and now she is putting on her vest. That is that kind of jacket like thing that doesn't have any sleeves. So she is dressing in layers because it's cold out. She has what looks like a bowl of cereal, maybe some oatmeal, a cup of warm tea, maybe coffee, and her mittens are on the table. And it looks like somebody left her a note. Her mom left her a note. Oh, and she has her fluffy, or I might call those furry. I might call those furry boots. But she definitely looks ready for the snow. After breakfast, her little brother Leo ran into the kitchen. Snow day. No school, he shouted. Maya smiled. No school today. Let's build a snowman, Leo asked. He was already putting on his boots. Wait, Leo, Maya said, we need more clothes. It's very cold. You can see this little guy. He is stomping in the snow. That's when you put your foot down hard, either on the floor or the snow. And it looks like they are definitely making a snowman. They put on many clothes. Maya wore a thin layer first then a warm jacket. Leo looked like a small round snowball. Finally, they were ready. Outside, the air was very cold, but nice. The snow was deep. Leo walked with big steps, stomping in the snow. Each stomp made a deep mark. They rolled big snowballs. Their faces were red from working hard. They built a tall snowman. He had black stones for eyes, a carrot for a nose, and a blue scarf. I think we'll talk about scarf here in a little bit, just in case you don't know. No, we won't. Hang on. So let's go back. Let's look at this picture right here. That thing around the snowman's neck, we would call that a scarf. Oh, no. It looks like that snowman is already melting, but he does have a carrot for a nose. That orange thing we call a carrot. Do we read this yet? We did, right? So now we're down here. Oh, fluffy, layer, sparkling, mitten. Hopefully you all know those words from before. He needs a name, Leo said. How about Frosty? Maya laughed. Just then, the sun came out. It shone on the snowman. Shone is the past tense of shine. But the air got a little warmer. Drip, drip, drip. Water fell from the house roof. The snowman started to change. His nose moved a little. Oh no, Leo said. He's melting away. Maya saw it too. The snow on the tree branches was getting smaller. The beautiful sparkling snow now looked wet. The snowman was slowly getting smaller. It was melting away. It's okay, Leo, Maya said. We can build another snowman another day. They went inside for hot chocolate. They left their snowman to melt. It felt warm inside, but the special feeling of the morning was also melting away. The end. That is the end of our story. Let me make myself a little bigger. All right, so that is like a 20-minute class for you. Congratulations on making it to the end. If you want another English lesson about warm things, it's right down there for you. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.